What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for May 13th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the podcast. It is Tuesday. That means it's time for a little bit of motivation / positivity. And we're going to conclude our look at the 5 harsh truths that we all need to accept in order to live better lives. Just to recap, first one was no one is responsible for your happiness but you. Second, if all your relationships have the same problems, likely you're the problem. 3, things are never as good as you hope, but also never as bad as you feared. And then last week we looked at it's better to fail at something rather than to regret never trying. And now for number 5, this is probably the most obvious of all of them and probably the most important one of all. And it's life is short, death is inevitable, and every day matters. And it sounds kind of harsh and very blunt and to the point, but it's 100% true. So many times we waste times. We say, we'll get to it tomorrow, and I'll do it later, and kind of put off things that we should be doing because you never know. You absolutely never know. Don't waste a day. Don't let time slip away. Go for a walk. Have a catch with your kids. Go for a bike ride. Do whatever you got to do. Don't put off something that later, tying in with last week, that you're going to end up regretting. It's very easy to put off and procrastinate and say, I'll get to it tomorrow. Go start a hobby. Apply for the job you want. Go back to school. Forgive someone. Say you're sorry. Tell someone you love them. All of those things, because you never know. Life is short. Death is inevitable. And don't waste time. And I'll be honest, I needed that this week just to kind of put in certain things in perspective and things like that. I've been making a conscious effort to try to do more things like that, be more present, and just not let time waste away, because you never know. Just stop putting things off. Just go do it. And like we've talked about with the other ones, if all of those other things are happening, now is the time to change it, because you never know. Tomorrow's not promised. So that is today's positivity / motivation. Hopefully you got something out of these harsh truths, because like I said, the past 5 weeks, as I've been going through them, when I finally looked at that, I'm like, man, that's good. You need to accept things like that. So as you go through your weeks, remember, life is short. Death is inevitable. It sounds harsh, but don't waste time. Do whatever it is you've been putting off. Do it now, because you never know what's going to happen. And that means enjoying it. Stop to smell the roses, whatever cliche you want to throw out there. Start a hobby. Apply for the job. Start your workout regime. Forgive someone. Tell someone you're sorry. Whatever it is, because life is way, way, way too short to be going through and having those regrets. So that is to this week's motivation / positivity. We'll have more next week as we go. But those were the 5 harsh truths we all need to accept. No one's responsible for your happiness except for you. If all your relationships have the same problem, maybe you're the problem. Things are never as good as you hope, but never as bad as you feared. Better to fail at something than to never try, but life is short. Death is inevitable. Every day matters. So go out there and make today matter. Make this week matter, and stop wasting time. All right, let's get into it. Kind of a roller coaster of emotions yesterday in Philly sports. We'll start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, where do you think the Sixers are going to get the pick? Everybody was all over the board. 44% of you said second or third. 44% said nothing. Had a lot of disappointment in there. I'm not sure what pick that would be, but thank you as always for participating in the question of the day. We will have another one here later in the show, but you guys called it. Sixers ended up with the 3rd pick, and while the first pick would have been nice, I think they're going to get a nice player here, but it also gives them options, and this is sort of what scares me. They do have options depending on the direction that Daryl Morey and Elton Brand want to go. But, I mean, I don't necessarily think I would trade this pick. I think I would keep it. and start building up a young core so we don't go through the purgatory that we went through. I don't know if that means you draft Joe's replacement. They're pretty much going to have a pick of whatever position and direction they decide to go. I can't really see them drafting a smallish guard with Maxey and Jarrett McCain. Could see them getting a swing guy, though, a 3-and-D player. But Sixers got options. We'll start looking into some of the players. The draft is in probably about a month or so. So I'll get the exact date on that for tomorrow. But I'll start looking at options, and we'll start talking about which direction the Sixers go as we hear. But I'll take it. Third pick. They didn't lose it. They moved up 2 spots. But, man, nobody's going to tell me, and I know I alluded to this a few times as we were going through our tankathons, nobody's going to tell me that this is not rigged. There's no way Dallas, with a 1.8% chance, moves up to the top spot after what happened to them this year. No doubt in my mind that the whole thing is rigged, but it kind of is what it is. It worked out, I would think, for the Sixers, in the Sixers' favor, so not going to complain too much, but kind of ridiculous that Dallas gets the first pick after the trade where Luka went to the Lakers. And I don't know, maybe Dallas is going to end up being the team that benefits the most from that trade. We'll see. But Sixers get the number 3 pick. I will take that, and we'll start exploring what options they have. I just hope Darryl doesn't go star hunting and trade the pick for God knows who. But we'll continue to monitor that as it goes. The other big news yesterday were, and the NFL does it right. I don't know who their marketing people are or whatever, but they make it right. Everybody knows that the schedule will be released on Wednesday night. But the leaks, and right after I posted the show from yesterday, it was announced that the Eagles will open up on that Thursday night against the Cowboys. And I kind of like this. I know some people were back and forth and not so sure about it. I like it for a couple of reasons. There's the obvious that you're raising the banner in front of one of your biggest rivals. But I mean, I like it from the sense that you're catching them at the right time. So many times, like later in the season, we see, and like a lot's been made about the fact that Jalen and Dak really have not played head to head. So you're going to get that. Emotionally, I think the crowd is always up for a Dallas game. The crowd was already going to be up because they're raising the banner. To put those two together, I think that it's the perfect storm for the Eagles. I think you got a division opponent. You kind of really are able to see how you stack up against the Cowboys. And yes, it's always tough playing the division opponent early, but you can set the tone because I think between Washington and Dallas, everybody, because of the trend in the NFC East where there's been no back-to-back champions, I think they're kind of like everybody's picking Washington, but I think the Cowboys are kind of like that sleeper pick. So you can kind of bury your opponent or your rival early here with a win, riding that emotion. So I think from without knowing what the way the rest of the schedule is going to break down, I like this because you're catching the Cowboys at the right time, being able to ride the emotion of the crowd. And from an NFL perspective, I have a feeling last year was the first time the Eagles and Cowboys were not a primetime game. I think the NFL sees that the Cowboys probably will not be that good, and they wanted to kind of maximize and capitalize on this rivalry. And what better time to open the season? Last time they opened the season against each other was way back in 2000, 25 years ago. That was the Pickle Juice game. Hard to believe that game was 25 years ago. Jeez. But the Pickle Juice game, when Deuce went down to Dallas, it was 100 degrees or whatever it was on the field and just ran wild on them. But Eagles-Cowboys to open the season, I like it. I think you kind of set the tone and set the message early in the NFC East. And what's better than raising the second championship banner in front of the Cowboys, who some of you listening to this might not even have been born the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. So you got to love that. Some other leaks. They are playing Black Friday at home against the Bears. Again, I like this. I like the Black Friday games. I know a lot of people are complaining this, that, and the other. I like it. Anytime you get random football on a Friday is good, especially around the holiday season. I know some Flyers fans weren't too happy about it because the new tradition, or in recent years, the Flyers have played on Black Friday. But, hey, man, the NFL is king, and pretty much since Goodell's been in charge, they do whatever they want. So they're taking over, and I like it. 3 o'clock game should be a fun one. Bears should be improved as well. And then the other game that was announced was a Saturday game, December 20th, down in D.C. against the Commanders. Could be a huge game with lots of playoff implications, division implications. But those are the 3 games we know so far. I don't know if other Eagles games at this point will be leaked, but we'll have the full schedule on Thursday. We'll go through wins and losses and all that other fun stuff. But Eagles-Cowboys to open the season. It's Dallas summer, I guess you could say. Everybody gets pumped up for Dallas week. It's Dallas summer. I know the Cowboys fans are pumped up and excited for it, so makes for a good game. I will say it's probably the better. It was a team I didn't think about. I think you could have gone Washington there, the NFC Championship rematch. You could have gone Detroit. But I think the Cowboys is the right pick. There's a lot more juice to that rivalry. And I know Detroit is chomping at the bit to get at the Eagles. The Commanders are chomping at the bit to get back at the Eagles. But who doesn't like a good Dallas Eagles game? So that's how they'll open up the season. We'll have more as the schedule leaks come out. But that does lead to today's question of the day. How do you feel about the Eagles opening up against the Cowboys? I love it. But like I said, I know a lot of people were not happy about it. Let me know your thoughts. 267-495-8531. That's the Back to the Future voice and text line. Get that. Anything else Philly sports related off your chest? Want to rant about the Sixers getting the 3rd pick, the NBA rigging it for the Mavericks? Can rant Phillies, Union, whatever you want. It's all fair game. You're a Flyers fan. You want to bitch about the Black Friday game? Everything is fair game on the Back to the Future voice and text line. But be sure, let me know. How are you feeling about the Eagles opening up the season against the Cowboys? I love it. Like I said, it's always fun. Set that tone early. And, of course, raise the banner in front of Jerry, who has really changed his tune after saying, oh, the Eagles are buying championships, to now all of a sudden mimicking what the Eagles and Howie Roseman do. So it should be a good time. First game of the season, Eagles-Cowboys. Let's do some quick housekeeping. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mott on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, @PhillyJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mott, and continue to spread the word. Don't forget, on my social media, including Facebook and LinkedIn, I put highlights up of whatever we're talking about for the day to give you the visual representation, whether it's photos, newspaper clippings, video, all of that is there. Lots of good conversations on the Facebook page as well. And like I've been saying, I'm still working on, hopefully we'll get some answers this week regarding a Discord chat where we can just all kind of go back and forth throughout the day on our breaks from work, talking trash and talking Phillies sports. All right, Phillies, not so good. 3-2, but it was a good game against the Cardinals. A tough one because they were hitting the ball hard, just hitting it right at where the Cardinals were. Christopher Sanchez was again solid, had 8 Ks in 6 innings. The bullpen was pretty solid too, except for one pitch by Matt Strahm. And we were watching it before the kids went to bed, and we were talking about whatever the receivers are called. And they're like, well, how do they know? I'm like, well, look, JT is calling the pitch. He's telling him where he wants it. And sure enough, Strahm missed the pitch. He knew it. JT knew it. And it was a good life lesson or sports lesson for the kids to see that. But one bad pitch, but they couldn't really get it going. I don't know. And Bryce still seems off. And maybe I just never noticed it before because the slump has been kind of bad that he's been in, but I feel like he's swinging for the fences every single time. It's like home run or bust for him. And I know he has a violent swing, but man, he just looks like he's trying too hard to try to get it out. But he did shave his head, so maybe that will bring some of that Nick Sirianni shaved head vibes that helped the Eagles out last year. But they're back at it tonight. Jesus Luzardo on the mound for the Phils as they look to take the second game and even up this series against the Cardinals. Be sure to check out my friends over at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Lots of great things happening on their sports fan network. Go to theclashingconferences.com for details on what they have to offer, how you can get involved, and then, of course, check out their podcast wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. And then do some shopping at Philly Goat. Going to order some slides this week for the kids. Slides are amazing. They just keep adding more and more. The T-shirts are amazing. They got you covered. And it's also not too early to start thinking about Father's Day. Those rocks glasses, the Philly Fanatic rocks glasses, make a great Father's Day gift, as well as any of the artwork from the Jordan Spector collection. Just go to Philly Goat. Trust me, check it out. Get one of the cooler bags. I mean, I am excited for the pool to open for no other reason than to pack that cooler up and just walk into the pool with it. They got you covered with everything you need. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, got another double header today for a Tuesday. And first, we're going to go back to 1985. And on this day in 1985, construction began on 1 Liberty Place. 1 and 2 Liberty Place would be the tallest buildings in Philadelphia, which broke the gentleman's agreement that the city had for years that no building would tower over the top of William Penn's head on top of City Hall. And this ignited one of the, whether you believe it or not, I do, it ignited the curse of Billy Penn. And when Liberty Place opened in March of 1987, it set off a 20-year period of just disappointment and futility from our Philly sports teams. Later that spring, Flyers losing the Stanley Cup in 7 games to the Edmonton Oilers in a game or a series where Ron Hextall stood on his head, and it was all downhill from there for all of our Philly sports teams. All because they built a building higher than Billy Penn's head. That lasted until 2007 when the Comcast Center was being built, and the workers who were putting the last beams on top had the great idea to put a little William Penn statue. So William Penn, once again, was on top of the city. And if you don't believe in curses, later that summer, the Phillies chased down the Mets to win the division and make the playoffs for the first time since 1993. A year later, they won the first world championship in Philly since 1983. Don't tell me you don't believe in curses. And then when the second Comcast Tower went up, they put another statue up top of there. And since then, the Eagles have won 2 Super Bowls. So believe what you want. All of a sudden, William Penn's back on top of the city. The teams start having success again. Minus the Sixers. I think they forgot that memo. Or maybe they didn't get it. But the Eagles and Phillies, anyway, have had success since then. Flyers have gone to a Stanley Cup since the Comcast Center has gone up. So, Sixers, your turn. Speaking of the Sixers, we're going to go back then to 1999. And on this day in 1999, the Sixers beat the Orlando Magic 97-85 to take a 2-1 lead in their first-round playoff series. It was the first home playoff game for the Sixers since 1991. Allen Iverson scored 33 points, had 5 assists, and set an NBA playoff record with 10 steals in the game. Kind of just propelled them to go on and win the series. 2 days later, they close it out before getting swept by the Pacers. But we all know the seeds were planted. AI was coming into his own as the leader of this team, and they would make that magical finals run, but they didn't get the job done because of the curse of Billy Penn. Let's see how that ties together. So again, Sixers, your turn here. All the other teams have been to the finals since the Comcast Center went up, and William Penn returned to the top of the city. You're up, guys. All right. And then finally today, our Philly Sports Summer Playlist Song of the Day is Just Wanna Rock by Lil Uzi Vert. This came out in 2022. It made it to number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 5 on the R&B and hip-hop Billboard chart. Lil Uzi Vert is a Philly native, and it has been the Eagles' walkout song for the past couple of years. It's been a staple song at the Link as well since it was released. Lil Uzi Vert even walked them out before the 2022 NFC Championship game against the 49ers, and we know how that turned out, but not really kind of gets the crowd pumping. I'm a big AC/DC guy for when the Eagles get introduced, but I do like Just Wanna Rock by Lil Uzi Vert because you can just feel the bass and it kind of gets the crowd going. But that is today's Philly Sports Summer Playlist Song of the Day. Just Wanna Rock by Lil Uzi Vert, Philly native, Eagles walkout song. He even walked out with them, like I said, before the NFC Championship game in 2022. And then for our bonus, got to go with Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. It was featured in the halftime show this past Super Bowl. So there's your Philly connection. And again, why not? Like I said, we're doing a little something for everybody, a little hip-hop today. But Philly's own Lil Uzi Vert, Just Wanna Rock is today's Philly Sports Summer Playlist. On this day in 1999, Sixers beat the Magic 97-85 in Game 3 of their first-round series. AI set a playoff record with 10 steals in the game. Sixers would close that series out before getting swept by the Pacers. And on this day in 1985, you could say the curse of Billy Penn started as construction began on One Liberty Place, which would eventually be the tallest building in Philadelphia, overtaking City Hall, pissing off William Penn, and starting the curse. You could even say the curse started in 1985 as the Flyers did lose to who'd they lose to? I think it was the Oilers again in the 1985 Stanley Cup Finals. And we all know, unfortunately, Pelle Lindbergh passed away. It just was an absolute... The curse was just real. Nobody's going to tell me any different because once they put that statue back up on top of Comcast Center, all of a sudden the teams start winning championships again. So, do you believe in curses? That's the bonus question of the day. I sure as heck do because the numbers don't lie. All of a sudden, William Penn's back on top, and we're winning Super Bowls. Yeah, tell me curses aren't real. We'll have more on the Eagles' schedule as the leaks continue. I'll start focusing on the NBA draft and where the Sixers are going to go. We will update the Phillies as well. But remember, as you go through your week, life is short. Death is inevitable. Every day matters. Don't waste time. Don't put something off today for tomorrow that you can do today. Don't waste that time. Tell someone you love them. Start a new job. Start a new hobby. Start working out. Forgive. Move on. Say you're sorry. All of that stuff because life is too short. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for May 13th, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Tuesday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.